welcome into the Bearcat Den, live from Pasquale's Pizza here on Highway 31 in Cullman. We are live on Cullman's Live 95 and live on Cullman's Live 95's Facebook page as well. Thank you to all of you watching out in video land. I'm Tommy Warhurst alongside Cullman head coach Danny Stiff. Coach, welcome back into the Bearcat Den, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Big win last week against Columbia. We'll talk a lot about that. I want to say a special thanks as we get started, to my friend Jane Blank and all of her team at Alabama Closing and Title. They stepped up and are sponsoring meals tonight for players. So thank you very much to Jamie and the gang at Alabama Closing and Title. They handle a lot of closings for our real estate group, Tactical Realty Group. And they also can help you if you have some title questions, maybe need to get somebody added to a deed or so forth. They can help you with that there at Alabama Closing and Title. They are proud to sponsor tonight's meals here in the Bearcat Den at Pasquale's Pizza. The buffet's on the inside. We're outside on the patio, but Coach, they've got the plastic rolled down and the heater's on. It's nice and comfortable out here.
Yeah, I might even take my jacket off, you know. It's nice.
We had another nice home game, a nice home crowd at Oliver Woodard Stadium and Martin Britton Field Friday night. Had a chance to bring in Columbia for homecoming. We expected to get a big W, and we did. Talk a little bit about last week against Columbia.
Yeah, it's always, they've got a challenging time with their program. You know, they're trying to really come up from, I think somebody told me last week they had the longest losing streak in the country at 82 games. So that's always a tough week to kind of get everybody focused and dialed in. I challenged those guys. I really wanted a shutout on the defensive side and just the offense to play some clean football. So, we did that for the most part. It's just a strange game, to be honest with you. It's a strange feeling in that game. I think they had two players that are going to be okay. One of them we thought he broke a rib. He just bruised one. But there was a good couple, two delays that were about 10 minutes long just for injuries, which always kills the mood and the energy a little bit. So it was it's a strange game. I'm not a huge fan of those games, but we got out of it. We're on to the next week, and now we got Decatur. So, I thought we did some good things, and we got through it with a win.
We were commenting upstairs in the booth. The first half took an hour and a half.
Yeah,
the first quarter. The first quarter was 45 minutes. Injuries played a lot to do with that. Glad those two guys are going to be okay. We got out and scored early. We led 7-0, but then, Coach, we let them come right down the field and score. And I know that wasn't something you guys really wanted to see that early.
No, it wasn't. We had to stop there. We dropped the punt and had to come back on defense, which is always a tough situation to have that turnaround where you think you're coming off the field, then you got to go back on the field. So we got to do a better job responding in that situation. But then we let the quarterback get out of the pocket. He took off for a lot of yards. He's a really good athlete. And then we slipped on a blitz. Our defender that fell down let the quarterback get out of the pocket on that side. And then the corner didn't do his job over there, and they ended up scoring a touchdown. And, I was pretty mad at that point. But I could tell that the defensive players were as mad as I was. So they didn't want to give up any points either. And, it's always after that we were pretty much locked down on defense. But, having that be the first, I think it might have been the second really series. But, we kind of came back, woke up a little bit, and started playing some football. And I just started blitzing him so he couldn't do that anymore.
Yep. On the ensuing kickoff after Columbia scored, Asher Drake took it 75 yards back into the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, I thought it was there on the first one. And, we missed one block, and he kind of didn't hit it up in there. So on the second one, I could see it part, and I knew if he was going to hit that thing, he had a chance. I thought maybe somebody might catch him because they got some team speed. But he took it all the way to the house. We didn't block anybody in the back. We didn't hold anybody. That's always what you worry about on those. And, it's a good way to kind of respond from giving up the touchdown.
And I think your defense responded as well, because on the next possession out there for Columbia, we had a forced fumble. Cam Myers recovered a fumble, set us up for Cooper Lofton to go in and punch another touchdown in for us there.
Yeah, and that's what, like I said, the defensive players were as mad as I was at giving up those points. So they came out there with a different mindset after that. And we got after them a little bit. And I think they just struggled to get anything going.
We were able to score again. We had a 28-6 lead with 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. So we kind of started out a little slow, let them score, but we really were able to pour it on after that.
Yeah, and, they couldn't really stop us running the football. It was huge chunks of yards when we would run the ball. I think we only threw 6 passes in the whole game, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 6 or 7. And so, when you can run the ball like that and you're taking out 20 yards chunk plays at a time, it's pretty easy on offense, honestly. And so, it gets to the point where, especially when the score gets out of hand, you just start trying to get other guys in, some younger guys in, get the starters out, and give some other people opportunities to play on Friday night they don't normally get to.
We improved to 4-4 with the win over Columbia, but Coach, as I'm looking back at some stuff and studying for Friday night this week, we could very easily be 6-2. A couple things go different in the Athens game. A couple of things, 1 or 2 things go different in Hartselle. We're 6-2.
Yeah, and it seems like it was so long ago. Some of those games, the season's been short, but it seems like it was forever ago. 3 weeks ago. So and I kind of segment this in 5-game stretches. So since that game 5 we're 2-1 in our second half of the season. So that's kind of what I emphasize to the guys, and my mentality in my head is having to split that thing up and kind of play 2 seasons right there. So definitely a lot better football in the second half of the season than the first half of the season.
Our goal at the beginning of every season is to make a playoff run. We kind of control our own destiny, but also this week we all become big fans of one of our big rivals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jasper slipped up. I wouldn't say slipped up. Jasper has a good football team, but I think they surprised a lot of people and beat Muscle Shoals last week, and that put Jasper back in the playoff mix. So now we take care of business at Decatur, and if Hartselle can knock off Jasper, we're in as a 4 seed.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. Somebody told me at halftime that one of those games was in the fourth quarter. It was either the Hartselle Athens game or I was like, fourth quarter? Because we started 15 minutes late. They had some traffic that they got caught into. And the first half was so long. So when we got in as coaches, we heard that Jasper had upset Shoals. So a lot of the coaches, we just sat there and watched the game. We went back and watched the replay of it on Jasper's replay to see how it happened.
Yeah.
It was a pretty dominant performance by Jasper on the offensive side of the ball. They couldn't stop number 3 running it. And then on offense, for defense on Jasper, they couldn't stop number 0 running the ball, but I think they had a turnover late in the game that kind of changed that around. It was pretty interesting to watch. I mean, I think Coach Reeves has done a good job at Jasper getting those guys where they can play with Muscle Shoals like that. And it was a pretty wild game. So, yeah, it kind of opened up the playoff picture for them. They've got to beat Hartselle, though. And I think that's going to be a tall task coming off that win, playing at Hartselle, too.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what my friends in Muscle Shoals would say. Playing at Jasper cost them the game. Had it been at home, they felt like they would have come out on top. But
yeah, I probably wouldn't disagree with that. Watching the game, I probably wouldn't disagree with that either.
Yep.
There was definitely some help there, but you got to tip your hat to Jasper and how they played.
For sure.
They got after him.
We hit the road this week to go 33 miles up to Decatur to take on the Decatur Red Raiders at Ogle Stadium. We'll talk more with Coach Stiff about that. Plus, we'll welcome in juniors Chance Hausler and Tyler Brock when we come back here. You're in the Bearcat Den, live at Pasquale's Pizza here on Highway 31 in Cullman. The buffet is going strong on the inside. You've got plenty of time to come by and have some great pizza and pasta here at Pasquale's before you get to church tonight. Meet some players and coaches as well, and join us here in the Bearcat Den. Back in a moment here on Cullman's Live 95. Cullman Community Radio, powered by Cullman's Live 95, is your home for Friday Night Live. Nobody covers more high school football in Cullman County than Cullman Community Radio, powered by Cullman's Live 95. Go to your favorite app store and download the Cullman's Live 95.5 app. Then select the channel of the game you want to hear. This week, here's Sardis at Fairview, Good Hope at Fayette County, or Cullman at Decatur. Visit live95cullman.com for more information on channel assignments, this week's schedule, and to grab our mobile app. Cullman County High School football on Cullman's own Live 95. Friday Night Live is brought to you in part by Cyber Broadband, Plus One Heating and Air, Cleaning and More Cullman, Josh Phillips of Impact Mortgage Group, Merchants Bank, Cullman Electric Co-op, Tisha Brewer of State Farm,
Cullman Savings Bank, Adam Aker, Mitch Smith Chevrolet, Cullman Appliance Repair, Odin's Auto Glass, Lister Hill Credit Union, 212 Insurance, H&S Appliance, Guthrie's Automotive, Denton Seamless Gutters, Hagamore Heating and Air, and the Warhurst Team Realtors at Hagamore Realty Group. Friday Night Live on the Cullman County Sports Network, powered by Cullman's Live 95. In today's world, broadband internet is an absolute necessity. Unfortunately, the large cable and phone companies only provide broadband internet where it's profitable for them. For the rest of us, there's Cyber Broadband. Providing internet service since 2004, Cyber utilizes a small radio antenna to deliver broadband where cable and DSL don't go. You can join the 21st century today with Cyber Broadband, supporting streaming, VPN access, and everything else you've been wanting to do with that slow internet connection. It's Cyber Broadband for the win. They can be found online at cyberbroadband.net or look them up on Facebook.
At Plus One Heating and Air, we believe in more than just fixing your HVAC system. Our team of skilled technicians is dedicated to providing top-notch service with a smile. Whether it's installation, repairs, or maintenance, you can trust Plus One Heating and Air to get the job done right the first time.
I've never experienced service like this before. Plus One Heating and Air not only fixed my heating system promptly, they also ensured everything was running smoothly. They truly care about their customers.
So when you're in need of heating and air services, remember the company that's willing to walk that extra mile for you. Plus One Heating and Air, where trust meets exceptional service.
Check it out now. The heat of the moment. We could have had it all. Life in the fast lane. 'Cause I'd already.
Live. I'm sorry, is that funny? Are you stand-up comic? Is that what you do now?
95.5.
Cullman's Live 95. Welcome back into the Bearcat Den from Pasquale's Pizza here on Highway 31. We're live on Cullman's Live 95 and live on Cullman's Live 95's Facebook page as well. Hello to all of you out there in video land. Thanks for watching the Bearcat Den. If you miss any of today's show, don't worry. We will have it uploaded to the Cullman's Live 95's YouTube channel later on this evening. I'm Tommy Warhurst alongside Cullman head coach Danny Stiff, and we welcome in juniors Chance Hausler and Tyler Brock into the Bearcat Den. Gentlemen, thanks for coming in the den.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Haven't had a chance to visit with you two gentlemen so far in the season, so let's take a quick moment and look back. It's hard to believe we're going into the 9th game of the regular season. It's like we wait and wait for football season to get here, and then it gets here, and all of a sudden 8 weeks have gone by. We're going into week 9. Tyler, reflect back on the previous 8 weeks of the season.
The 8 weeks have been, a real learning experience for the team, and I feel like we've come a long way, especially starting games and finishing them as well. But I feel like we've come along pretty far so far. We're ready for the rest of the season.
Chance, your take on the first half of the season, sir?
My take on it is it was a big learning process for us, and I feel like now that we're so far into the season, we're playing better all around as a team. Offense has more trust in the defense, and defense has more trust in the offense.
Speaking of defense, both of you guys play in the secondary on the defense, and I want to give you hats off, too, for your performance a couple of weeks ago. We lost the game against Hartselle, but you guys did something that nobody else has been able to do to them all season long, and that's hold them to 10 points. They were averaging 48 points a game going in. Just talk a little bit about the performance a couple of weeks ago.
Going into Hartselle, it's like a big rivalry, and it means a lot to us. So, you always want to step up and play your best game. So I feel like for us, we're young, and we got that chip on our shoulder, so we just got to come above and do our part. I feel like, especially that week, everybody was pretty locked into that game and to what they're doing, their job. And we just came together that game and played really sound defense.
Tyler, talk about what may have changed, if anything has changed from game 1 going into week 9 as far as defense. Your thoughts, your preparation, your schemes, the attitude of the defense, or so forth.
Well, the attitude certainly has changed, but I think really starting games has really been the thing for us, going out there and setting the tone for the rest of the game.
Chance, you guys get a chance to be back there in the secondary because you're locked up usually man-to-man on the outside there corner. Talk a little bit about the challenge of being out there on an island all by yourself guarding a receiver?
It's a big challenge. You know, I've grew up a lot playing, you know, one-on-one with these wide receivers, and, you know, I've gotten really comfortable in, like, my technique, and it's just a big part of a game at corner. You got to be able to win those one-on-one matchups, and I just walk in thinking I'm better than the person across from me. So, you know, just doing my job and doing my part for my team is what's important to me.
I played receiver many moons ago, about 36 years ago. So tell me, are you the DB that's talking smack to the receiver the whole time and trying to get in his head?
I mean, yeah, that's honestly a big part of, like, what you want to do. You want to get in that wide receiver's head, or else they're just going to, you know, shut you down and, you know, beat you. So you want to get in their head a little bit, tell them, you know, get in their ear and tell them that they're not good. So that's sometimes what you got to do in those situations.
We had a big week last week. We only gave up 6 points to Columbia. Talk a little bit, Tyler, about the defensive effort last week and brag on some guys who had a big game.
Well, to start off the game, you know, we came out and did play very good football, but then going forward from that first drive, we came around and started playing really good football. But I'd have to say Jackson Stallings had a really good game, and, yeah, that was a big out for us.
Chance, talk about what you guys did to basically Columbia. They hadn't had a lot of success this year, but they've got some talent. They were quick on the outside. Quarterback was fast. Talk a little bit about the schemes and what you guys did to be able to shut them down.
Yeah, you know, we, like, first, like, going into it, like, I think we're a little laid back because, you know, they're not that very good, and, you know, we didn't expect that much, but they, like, were really surprising, actually, and the athletes they had were really big. Number one was a really great player, and, you know, he scored on us, so walking into that game, we wanted a shutout, and we didn't get it due to them having the great athletes. But, you know, throughout the game, we made progressions, and we did our jobs and got it done.
Little different challenge this week going into Decatur. Of course, this is not a Decatur team like we're usually seeing. They're 2-6 on the year, but they still have a lot of great talent. Defensively, one guy you got to keep your radar on, Tyler and Chance, I know, is that number one. Talk a little bit about what he looks like on film. I've watched him this week. Talk a little bit about what you guys have seen from your perspective.
Well, obviously to start off with, in the beginning of the season, he wasn't very, like, looked at, and he's on defense. And through the season, he's worked more on offense and become a really great player for them. So, yeah, he's pretty legit.
It looks like sometimes, Chance, they want to come out in what I'm used to calling the diamond formation. There's backs on either side of the quarterback, one behind him from the shotgun. They'll come out in diamond one time. Next time they're out there, they're in 4 wide. Talk about that and how that affects the defense and us trying to get subs in to get the right guys in the right position.
Yeah, you know, them running that is, you know, very confusing for us. I don't think we've ever been against it, like that scheme. So, you know, we've just been in film a lot. We together, we've watched film, and we've just been preparing for that, you know, mainly that diamond scheme, and I think we'll do good. I think the backups got it down. I think they'll do their part when they get in.
Yeah, and it's really the progression of their offense throughout the year. They run a little more option than they did early in the year, like triple option stuff from under gun. So it's a lot more to work on. Everybody's got to be sound. They got to, you know, you got to have a dive player, you got to have a quarterback player, you got to have a pitch player, you got to have people helping them out. You can't just leave them isolated out there. So it gives you a lot more to work on. These guys probably think that's all they run because it's basically the most stuff we practice. At one point, Chance asked me in the week, he goes, "Coach, do they throw the ball?" Like, when was that? Like after like Monday's practice or something? I'm like, yeah, they throw the ball, man. But, you know, they can usually tell, if they haven't picked up on it yet, what I'm concerned about that a team does that can give us trouble because we work on it a lot more than they actually run it. You know what I mean? It might be something they do 20% of the time, but we'll work 80% of the time on it. Yeah. And because I know some of the other stuff we've got down, it's stuff similar to what we've seen. So, you know, it's another offense that has struggled. So they're trying to find their identity and find things that work for them. And things can really change from week to week when teams do that. So you try to prepare for everything and get all the scenarios. Coach Asman asked me at one point during practice, he goes, "When did they run that?" And I go, "Oh, they haven't ran that yet." You know what I mean? But they could.
They could run it.
But they could.
Right.
And so I just try to get them ready where even if it's not exactly how we saw it in practice, we can make an adjustment in the game and relate it to something that we saw and just kind of have answers for all that stuff. So it's, you know, like I've told you, it's challenging when you play an offense that doesn't have, you know, a true clear-cut identity because you got to be ready for a lot of things. a lot of things.
And chance they do throw the ball some, too. The number one we talked about had over 100 yards receiving last week. He also scored a 2-point conversion. As you've seen, he's the guy that runs a Wildcat for him, too.
Yeah.
And then they had, I think it was number 25, who might have had a 62-yard touchdown reception. But they look pretty balanced. Just looking back at last week against Mae Jemison, they were almost exactly the same yardage passing and on the ground.
Yeah. Number one is like, he's good. He's a good ball player. Just watching him, you can tell, how he plays. You can't get him down. If you're one-on with him, you're not going to get him down. So I think we'll have defense rally up to him and get him down. And I just feel like they're good through the air. Their QB is very good. He can take a one-step drop and chunk it 65 yards.
Yeah, he's got a cannon.
He got a cannon, so. We'll be ready for it. DBs will be ready for it.
The good thing about being a DB with a quarterback that has a strong arm like that, they'll force balls.
Yeah.
They'll force balls in the coverage, thinking they can get it, and usually they'll throw you a couple. I think he's thrown about 2 or 3 pick sixes this year, so hopefully we get our hands on one of those.
Yep. Tyler, you were going to say?
If I'm not mistaken, they have a new coaching staff this year.
Yeah.
So I think that's been really big for them is, figuring things out. And I feel like their schemes are getting a lot better. And
they've been trying to figure those players out, who they got and what they can do. Games like this scare me because we watched them early in the year, I didn't think they were very good. And I've watched them, we've kind of crossed over a lot of film of watching them when we're watching opponents that we're playing in the region. And they've really gotten better every single week. So for our kids, and I told them Sunday, don't look at their record and assume that that's what they are when you're going to play them. They're going to be a lot better than some of the scores you've seen. I promise you that. And, that's the way they played the last couple of weeks. They played Mae Jemison down to the wire, who I think is a really talented team. They beat Lee a couple of weeks ago, who we know they have talent just from playing them last year. So, it's a game that concerns me as a coach because I don't know if they understand, and I try to get that point across all week. But, it can be a really big challenge, and we can't take them lightly whatsoever.
One, it's a big rivalry. Two, it just has to be another game, but it also depends on if we make it to the playoffs or not, how we perform on Friday night. We'll talk more about that with Tyler Brock, Chance Hauser, and head coach Danny Stiff when we come back here in the Bearcat Den. We're at Pasquale's Pizza on Highway 31. Still plenty of time for you to come by and enjoy the buffet before you go to church tonight. They've got the buffet on the inside. It's nice and warm out here on the patio, too. The plastic is down. The heaters are on. You can come join us at Pasquale's Pizza in the Bearcat Den. Back in a moment on Cullman's Live 95.
We have one of the coolest places right here in Cullman. It's Cleaning and More Cullman on County Road 437. Cleaning and More Cullman has reliable and professional residential and commercial cleaning services tailored to your needs. And I know because we use Cleaning and More Cullman at the Warhurst Team Realtors for our buyers and sellers. Cleaning and More Cullman is more than just cleaning supplies. They have janitorial supplies like trash can liners of all sizes, cleaning supplies, mops, brooms, paper towels, they have it all. Plus concession stand and restaurant supplies like cups, cutleries, plates, to-go containers, bags, straws, nacho trays, even popcorn bags. Cleaning and More Cullman has it all. Need climate control storage? How about 10 by 10, 10 by 15, and 10 by 20 units? And they even have the U-Haul trucks to carry your stuff. You can check them out at cleaningandmorecullman.com. You can get info at cleaningandmorecullman.com. Or the way I like, you can dial them up at 256-736-9944. 256-736-9944. Cleaning and More Cullman. County Road 437. Under the big white sign with the U-Hauls.
So I'd been battling depression for quite a while, and I tried different medications, and it would get better, but then they would start to taper off. And I would fall back into those feelings of apathy, worthlessness, and not wanting to do anything. After TMS, I wake up every day energized and ready to take on the day.
We started Sound Mind TMS to provide treatments for depression and anxiety that really work. We'd love for you to come to the office for consultation to see if TMS may save your life.
Sound Mind TMS, 256-735-9475. Or for more information, you can visit our website, soundmindtms.com.
In the game of mortgages, experience matters. Meet Josh Phillips, a veteran with over 13 years in the mortgage industry. As the leader in the local mortgage community, Josh is more than just a lender. He's a partner who believes in making an impact. At Impact Mortgage Group, they're not just making mortgages, they're They're making a positive impact on borrowers and our community. You can experience the difference too with Josh Phillips at Impact Mortgage Group.
I'm Josh Phillips of Impact Mortgage Group. You can reach me at 256-338-2920, and I'll show you how my experience can help impact your next home purchase.
NMLS number 338177. Are you ready to make your next move in Cullman? Hi, I'm Tommy.
And I'm Angela. We're not just realtors, we're a family dedicated to helping yours.
We're not just about buying or selling property. We're about building connections within our community.
From local schools to charity events, we're active because we care about Cullman.
When you use us, you're not just getting one realtor, you're getting a team working around the clock for you.
With our experience and expertise, we'll guide you through every step of the process.
We're the Warhurst Team Realtors at Hagamore Realty Group.
We make it happen, you make it home.
Live 95.5.
Cullman's Independent Radio. Welcome back into the Bearcat Den, live at Pasquale's Pizza here on Highway 31. I'm Tommy Warhurst, alongside Cullman head coach Danny Stiff, juniors Chance Hausler and Tyler Brock off the Bearcat defense. We're talking Cullman at Decatur this coming Friday night, and we will have the Bearcats and the Red Raiders right here on Cullman's Live 95.5's FM this coming Friday night. Yours truly and Chris Branham. Chris is going to make his radio debut, probably against his will, on Friday night as we bring you all the action of Bearcats and Red Raiders from Ogle Stadium in Decatur Friday night. Big game, coach. We talked about it a little bit earlier with Jasper beating Muscle Shoals. We control our own destiny. We win Friday night, and if we can cheer for Hartselle just for 3 hours and have them take care of Jasper, we'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I feel all right about that Hartselle-Jasper game because it's at Hartselle.
Yeah.
I know how hard it is to play there.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're going to have to do something they haven't done, which is rebound off a huge win like that, which isn't the easiest thing to do. It's really not. So that's something that lingers with you for a while.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't just get over it and move on. So, you know, we just take care of what we can control. Like I said, Decatur's a much improved football team from what they were, and I think there'll be a challenge for us. So we got a lot to defend on the defensive side. And then offensively, they're a little bit different than what we've seen. So we got to attack them a little bit different than some of the other teams we've seen this year, and you know, and then try to beat them on special teams, which could be a big factor in the game.
Every couple of years with region realignment, you end up going somewhere back-to-back, or somebody comes to your place back-to-back. We were up there last year. We got out of there with a 21-14 win last year. You guys were sophomores last year.
So that threw us off a little bit against Bob Jones. We weren't really getting the fits in, but yeah, that's a little bit of what they run. They got a couple pass plays. I don't think they run like curls and verticals.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little bit of what they run on the pass, and then they'll run sprint out a lot to the field. So because that QB has an arm, so he can get it to a lot of places. So I think though, you know, as the game evolves and we give them a look, I think they'll change it up a little bit on us, but, you know, we'll be ready for it.
Coach, kind of same question to you, sir. In preparation, we've talked a little bit about the different things that they're throwing at us, both offensively and defensively. Talk about that challenge with a new coaching staff and going in there and not having a lot of film to go back and watch other than what they've done this year.
Yeah, the coaches are trying to figure out what their team is and what they can and can't do and what they're good at. So, you know, it's harder for you to figure that out when they're still figuring that out, when they're still going through that process. So, you know, for us, you know, you try to stay to more of our base stuff. Don't get too crazy with it. Make sure we have good ability to adjust, run some things that can take care of issues, and make sure we have a couple different looks for them, and then just play sound football and make them execute at a high level, which usually, you know, when you're a new staff and a new team and you've only been working on what you've done since the spring, it's hard to execute at a high level consistently. So if we can just go out there and execute and out-execute them, that'll be the name of the game. And then, you know, that's going to be the same thing for offense and defense. So we're just trying to go out and play some good, clean football and be sound and not give up big plays and make them drive the ball and all that. And I I feel good about defensively, and I feel good about offensively. So I'm not overconfident in that. You still got to go out there and do it, but I feel good about the plans that we've got, and we just got to go out and execute it now.
Tyler, talk a little bit about those plans. Not saying we're going to give anything away, but what do you expect that we're going to see from Decatur Friday night?
I expect to see some good stuff. They lost their receiver to Bob Jones and also lost a quarterback. So I feel like things are going to change up a lot this year for them on offense, adapting to what they have. But I think it'll be a good challenge, and we're ready for it.
Chance coming off a big homecoming win last week and having a big rivalry game this week. Talk about the mood and the attitude in practice this week and how this week has been. I know yesterday was rough.
Yeah, we didn't really have a great practice yesterday, but I feel like we got better today on it. We adjusted to what we were seeing. Yesterday we didn't really get a good look, but today we got a better look at things, and we were able to run more plays. And I feel like coming off a homecoming week, after the win last week, we didn't celebrate. We didn't get happy or anything. Yeah. So I just feel like this is just another business trip, as every game is. So I feel like the mentality hasn't changed. We're just out here to win games and, do our part.
Tyler, I think the loudest cheer I've heard from our fans all season long came on a 71-yard punt a couple of weeks ago. Talk about that, because we had struggled a little bit in the punting game, and it was terribly windy that night, but you came out there and flat boomed a good one and flipped the field on them.
Yes, sir. It's a practice thing. I came into this punting roll. I just went out there and kicked the crap out of it.
Yeah.
Golden leg, baby, golden leg.
I think he just kicked the ball messing around one day in practice last year. We were like, hey, you can punt. And that's basically how he ended up being the punter last year.
Yeah.
It was just one of those deals where, he can do it, So, yeah, it's a big thing. That field position in that was huge. It really changed the dynamics of the game. Might have been the biggest play of the game, honestly, when it boiled down to it and how the game was playing out. Yeah. So it was huge. I was as happy as the fans were about it.
And two, it also, with a guy who plays in the secondary as well, it also kind of gives us an option should we decide to do something different, having a man like Tyler back there.
Yeah, exactly. And I went after he kicked the 71-yard kick. I wanted to give him the biggest hug in the world, but he's had to go out on defense right after that, so I couldn't. But the only problem is, you can get a little more fatigued as the punter, but normally those guys are standing over there. It'd be a bigger issue if he played on offense, but it definitely adds another dynamic to the punt team. Him being an athlete, a little more that they got to respect. Because I know looking at other teams' punt teams, that always scares me and gives me some worry. So that's a huge element to it too.
We're in the Bearcat Den at Pasquale's Pizza, live on Cullman's Live 95, WRJM-LP in Cullman. Special thanks to Jamie Blanton and all of her team at Alabama Closing and Title. They're providing meals tonight here at Pasquale's Pizza in the Bearcat Den. So, folks, that's who we trust for real estate closings at Hagable Realtor Group, and a lot of agents in and around town. And too, if you got questions about a deed, you need to add somebody to a deed, or need to get some title work done, or just some questions, you can always reach out to Jamie or any of her gang there at Alabama Closing and Title. They're in Cotton Creek here in Cullman. Thank them for their support here of Cullman Bearcat football, providing meals tonight here at Pasquale's Pizza in the Bearcat Den. Buffets on the inside. You've still got plenty of time to get by and enjoy the buffet before you get to church tonight. We're continuing to talk with juniors Chance Hausler and Tyler Brock and head coach Danny Stiff about Cullman and Decatur coming up this coming Friday night. Coach, the 57th meeting between Cullman and Decatur coming up this week. Decatur holds the advantage over, so 35-19 losses for 35 wins, 19 losses, and we had two ties. I think 1925 and 1965, or 1922 and 1965 were the two ties before playoffs were around. But they kind of hold an advantage on us, but we have won 4 in a row against Decatur.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know we'd only beat him 19 times.
Yeah.
Out of all those games. Wow, that's crazy. That speaks to the challenge probably of playing Decatur. And honestly, if you remember last year, we didn't think they were very good going into our game last year, and then we got to get a goal line stand there. Yeah. So it was very similar circumstances. I was hoping when we saw them early in the year, I'm like, man, I hope they stay like this.
Yeah.
But I knew they wouldn't. I mean, they got a good football coach over there. So, I tip my hat to them at getting better and progressing week to week, and that's what you want to do as a football team. That's what we want to do. So, they're obviously coaching those guys up the right way. They're obviously practicing the right way, and it's going to be a challenge.
Preparation this week, what are we expecting them to throw at us? We think they're going to dig some stuff out that we haven't seen on film so far this year?
Yeah, probably just more variations of the option stuff they've been running because they've had some success with it. And then, because they've ran so much more of it, they'll have more counters to that, more stuff that looks like it, and they'll run something else, probably in the pass game, and with the counter play and stuff like that in the run game. So, defensively that they did a little bit different early in the year. They ran some too high safety stuff, and now they've been a lot of single high. So that's what we're expecting, but they can always come back out because they got it in the playbook. They worked on it for a long time. They're too high safety stuff, so they could easily pop that out on us, and we have to adjust on the fly. But that's stuff you always anticipate stuff like that as a coach, and I probably think 1,000 more levels into it than I ever have to. But it's good when you get out there in the game field, and then you can think about it and adjust it quickly. And it's good for me calling the defense and being able to talk to Coach Espin and Coach Hopper and make those adjustments. I don't get to go under the tent with these guys.
Yeah.
And watch the film and talk about everything like normally you get to do as a defensive coordinator. So it's really big for me to have those thoughts already arranged in my head and kind of have adjustments ready. And sometimes in pregame talk, I tell them about, hey, this could be an adjustment. And I hold back about most of it, but I try to tell them, like, hey, this could happen quick. We changed to this from this because of that, because, I don't get to see them until halftime again, really.
Yeah.
So I got to kind of tell them what's coming and then what might be coming. And I give them credit for being able to handle stuff like that because it's not easy to change what you're doing or to even know that you might change what you're doing, but you're not yet change what you're doing.
Right.
But that's my job as a coach, to be prepared for all that and kind of think about that through the week. That's the stuff that I lay in bed at 2 a.m. thinking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What could they do?
Yeah.
In watching film and all that. So, it's part of what makes it fun too, though.
Yeah.
Part of what makes it fun. But yeah, it's definitely all encompassing, and you got to be ready for it.
We're at the Bearcat Den at Pasquale's Pizza on Highway 31 in Cullman, talking Cullman and Decatur coming up this coming Friday night right here on Cullman's Live 95.5, airtime around 6:40 on Friday night. We're also live right now on Cullman's Live 95's Facebook page, but if you missed any of the Bearcat Den today, we'll have it uploaded later on tonight to the Cullman's Live 95's YouTube channel, and you can always go back on Cullman's Live 95's Facebook page and rewatch it anytime. We'll be back in a moment. We'll talk more Cullman and Decatur as we're here in the Bearcat Den at Pasquale's Pizza in Cullman.
In 1952, 7 men at an aluminum plant banded together and started Lister Hill Credit Union with only $5 each. Today, more than 92,000 have joined us, continuing the legacy of supporting themselves and the community through Lister Hill. It's all about we and what we can do together.
Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights. We switch TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Tisha Brewer right here in Cullman could switch you over and you could start saving today. Tisha and her team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. With Tisha Brewer, it's easy to switch and save.
I'm Tisha at Tisha Brewer State Farm. We're located behind Cook's Pest Control at 909 Fisher Street. You can reach us at 256-734-4645. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Cullman Electric Cooperative's mission is to make life better in the communities we serve. That starts by providing reliable, affordable electricity, while our Sprout Fiber Internet service delivers blazing fast broadband internet to homes, schools, and businesses. Cullman Electric Cooperative is a proud supporter of student athletes, cheerleaders, and band members who work hard every day to make their families and community proud. Cullman Electric Cooperative and Sprout Fiber Internet, powerful connections, brighter future.
Cullman Community Radio, powered by Cullman's Live 95, is your home for Friday Night Live. Nobody covers more high school football in Cullman County than Cullman Community Radio, powered by Cullman's Live 95. Go to your favorite app store and download the Cullman's Live 95.5 app. Then select the channel of the game you want to hear. This week, hear Sardis at Fairview, Good Hope at Fayette County, or Cullman at Decatur. Visit live95cullman.com for more information on channel assignments, this week's schedule, and to grab our mobile app. Cullman County High School football on Cullman's Own Live 95. Friday Night Live is brought to you in part by Cyber Broadband, Plus One Heating and Air, Cleaning and More Cullman, Josh Phillips of Impact Mortgage Group, Merchants Bank, Cullman Electric Co-op, Tisha Brewer of State Farm, Cullman Savings Bank, Adam Aker of Mitch Smith Chevrolet, Cullman Appliance Repair, Odin's Auto Glass, Lister Hill Credit Union, 212 Insurance, H&S Appliance, Guthrie's Automotive, Denton Seamless Gutters, Hagamore Heating and Air, and the Warhurst Team Realtors at Hagamore Realty Group. Friday Night Live on the Cullman County Sports Network, powered by Cullman's Live 95.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Live 95.5.
Welcome back in to the Bearcat Den, live from Pasquale's Pizza here on Highway 31 in Cullman. Plenty of time for you to come by and enjoy the buffet. If you have not been to Pasquale's Pizza since they remodeled and reopened, you are really missing out. I get to be here every Wednesday afternoon, 5:30 to 6:30. Came here for a lunch meeting earlier in the week. Folks, if you have not been here, you're missing out. The buffet is loaded inside tonight, and we're out here on the patio. Conditions are excellent on the patio. The plastic screens are down. The heated lights are on, so it is nice and comfortable out here on the patio. I'm Tommy Warhurst alongside Cullman head coach Danny Stiff and juniors Tyler Brock and Chance Hauser. We're talking Cullman at Decatur coming up here on Friday night, going into week 9 of the high school football season. And, Coach, you've got two guys here that are juniors. The first time we've had juniors be on the show this season. We've had seniors and that coaches. How did these two guys get here?
So, 2-year starters. So they're about as seniored in the program as anybody. I don't even know if was anybody else in y'all's grade start last year too?
No.
Yeah, it was just y'all. Which, no offense to y'all, but in the secondary when you got two sophomores, it worries you.
I bet it does.
It can worry you a little bit. Tyler first came out when he plays baseball too, so he first came out. It might have been our second to last spring practice. And I didn't have any idea who he was. You know what I mean? I'd heard his name before, but I really didn't know who he was. And he's out there with the 2s or the 3s. I can't remember. You weren't with the 1s.
I think it was a spring game. I think that was like the first time
It was a scrimmage. It was a scrimmage, yeah. And he came out there out of nowhere. Doesn't have any idea what's going on, but he was flying around the field.
Yeah.
And I turned to Coach Bullen and I go, well, there's one of our safeties. Because we'd been hearing guys were coming. They'd been playing baseball or whatever. And as soon as I saw T-Brock, I was like, well, he's going to be starting somewhere. We just got to figure out where. And so he came out. I mean, he was on fire when he first came out there, and it really caught my attention. Somebody I really didn't know at all. And that's what happens when you got these multi-sport guys and you take a job and you don't have them for a while.
Yeah.
You're trying to build a team, and you keep hearing about these guys. And some of the coaches were telling me some of the guys that were still out there, but you don't trust it till you see it. But it took me about 2 plays before I knew T-Brock could play for us. And then Chance, you started at Star, right? Yeah, he was at Star, so he was behind Stallings Sessions. You were behind Sessions, yeah. You were behind Sessions, and, he kept getting better and better throughout the spring stuff and coming into spring practice. And, we knew we needed somebody to play cornerback. And I was like, let's just move him to corner and see if he can do it. And he held up out there. And then we went to see, Chance, but this is a good story. Right? Chance probably hates this story. He probably has nightmares about this. But we went to play Carver in a 7-on-7 in Birmingham. And, it was 5 or 6 touchdowns in a row. I think Chance gave up 5 or 6 touchdowns in a row. Like in a row. Like they came to offense. They saw Chance out there. We were playing quarters, right? Yeah. And boom, deep ball. All right, right over his head. All right, and it happened repeatedly. All right, to the point to where it was bad for him. It was where you weren't even mad at him. You felt bad for him that you had to you knew that you had to get his mind in the right place.
Yeah.
As a coach. So I remember Coach Bullen coming over, and I said, Bullen, don't yell at him. All right, he's probably as mad as himself as anybody is right now. So we were worried about that spot. But here's the positive part of this story. This is what sold me on Chance. So we were coming home. We had the bus ride home. And I got in my car, drove to the house. When I pulled in my driveway, I get a text from Chance. I probably still have it on my phone. I get a text from Chance. It's long. He's basically apologizing, saying he's going to be better. He'd already watched the film somehow. I guess you watched it on your phone or something.
Yeah.
And Coach Bullen actually lived down the street from me. I remember I went and I talked to Coach Bullen. I'm like, well, Chance is going to be all right. And he was like, why you say that? Like, blah, blah, I'm worried. And I go, no DB is going to text me, have already watched the film. Like normal DBs, they're going to wait till the next day to watch that. They want to get away from it. They don't want anything to do with that. But the fact that he'd already watched the tape, he already knew his mistakes. He wanted to get better. And I could feel that drive in him. And just the mental recovery from the whole deal, honestly, I was like, well, he's got what it takes to be a DB. Like, he's going to be all right after that. And, it's just been a process of getting better and better. It's a really hard position to play. I isolate those guys a lot, put a lot on them. And, we try to help you at times, but most of the time you're going to be out there by yourself. And it takes a lot of trust from a coach to do that. And, he's really got to be on his game. So, it's I'm proud of him for that. And it's a position you have to be like that. If you let your mistakes linger at that position, I've seen guys that have first-round talent that don't get drafted because they let things linger, and it's probably that and quarterback are probably the two most positions to have that kind of mentality. And that's when I knew Chance, even after that hard day, I knew Chance was going to be just fine. If he just kept working, I knew he was going to be just fine. And ended up starting every game last year. And Tyler, you too?
No, I
you didn't start the first
Marzo.
game. Didn't start the first game. Didn't start the first game.
Terrible week of practice.
Yeah, but every game after that, he's been out there, and it's part of that resilient mentality that it takes to be a DB. That even when he makes mistakes, I trust that he's got the confidence to not let it just put his game down in the hole, and that's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So these guys got a good first impression with me, and I've kind of stuck with them since because I trust them and I know what they can do even when they make mistakes. I know that they can get better and keep working at it.
I agree. Putting two guys in your secondary, especially in the corner spot as a sophomore, is huge because the speed of the game from middle school or freshman is different when you get to the varsity level.
Yeah.
Chance, talk a little bit about the biggest lessons you've learned from your sophomore season to now going into the end of your junior season.
Just like self-confidence and leadership. My sophomore year, I didn't really know where I was going to be. I was always lost. You can ask Coach Stiff. He could tell me to do something. I would not do it. I mean, he could explain it to me as many times as he wanted to, and I've just learned a lot. I've learned a lot in coverages. I've got, a lot of knowledge. I've built up, what it takes to play DB, and I've, took the time out of my day to just, just study and, get better. And it's played a big part in my, football career. And I'm glad they moved me to DB. It's the best situation for me.
Yeah, and I'd say the most improved thing for me from a coach's standpoint has been just eye discipline and technique discipline. You can see too much as a corner when you're supposed to just see one guy.
Yeah.
And he really struggled with that last year at times. You just see too much of what's going on, and he's just improved on what he's looking at and what his focus is on, and not letting all the distractions that they're trying to get you out of coverage on get you. And that's a big part. Everything's that you got to be really disciplined with your eyes and really disciplined with your technique, or it's almost an impossible position to play.
Yeah.
If you're not.
T-Brock, same question to you, sir. Biggest lesson you've learned, or where you feel like you've grown from your sophomore season to now?
Last year I didn't really speak my mind much, but just leading, I guess what Chance said. But this year I feel like it's come naturally to just speak my mind whenever things go wrong, or that's all I can really say.
And word on the field is, I kind of talked to Chance about his smack talk. Word on the field is you're the smack talker.
Just a little bit.
Probably too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably a little too much.
You got to keep him reined in sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, I got to keep these guys reined in on a lot of things, but, that's all right.
I appreciate you juniors, Chance Hauser and Tyler Brock coming in the Bearcat Den. Before I let you go, got to ask you a question we've asked most everybody all season long. Chance, we'll start with you, sir. Most embarrassing moment on the football field?
Oh, my gosh. Muscle Shoals. We were about to go into halftime, and Coach Stiff said, man, and I thought he said cover 2, and I knew something was wrong because why would we run cover 2 on 3rd and long? I think it was 3rd and 16, and they just bombed it over my head, and I could have got him down, and I let go. And then I ended up just trying to chase him down, and I tried to hit his ankles out from under him, and I just slid.
Last year?
Yeah, and I just fell and landed on my face, and I just stood there, and all I heard was boo, and I was bad game.
Tyler, same question to you, sir. Most embarrassing moment on a football field?
I'd have to say last year, first round against Clay Chalkville, Jalen Mbakwe at Alabama now. I went to tackle him. I pulled him down, and he did a 360 and scored a touchdown, and I ended up on his highlight reel.
Well,
you weren't the only one.
Yeah, I was on there, too.
At least your two guys' embarrassing moment was on the field. Coach, I don't know if he's ever told you his. His was being the first one to bust through the sign before they were ready to burst out through the sign.
Yeah, I had to tuck my tail and run back through the sign.
Has he told you about
Killed the whole vibe.
Has he told you about the pep rally? Where's my cavalry at?
No.
The what?
The pep rally where he walked in. He was like, "Where's my cavalry at?" And nobody said anything. He was just standing there.
Where's the cavalry at?
Yeah. I thought there were trucks or something at the game. I'd heard about this.
There is, but
They ain't in there anymore.
Yeah.
Used to be a thing. I haven't even heard them this year much at all, but yeah.
Yeah, I got crickets on that one. You're right.
Yeah, nobody said a word.
right.
He was just standing there.
We're in the Bearcat Den at Pasquale's Pizza. We'll come back and wrap up this week's edition of the Bearcat Den in a moment. Still plenty of time for you to come by and enjoy some great pizza and pasta here at Pasquale's Pizza. Again, special thanks to Jamie Blanton and all her gang at Alabama Closing and Title for sponsoring meals tonight for the players here at Pasquale's Pizza. If you need any kind of real estate title work done, you need to add somebody to a deed, or you've got questions on how you transfer property to someone else, Jamie and her team there at Alabama Closing and Title can help you out. Thank you for your support of Cullman Bearcat football in the Bearcat Den here at Pasquale's Pizza. Back in a moment.
Hey, Cullman drivers. Are you tired of the hassle and confusion when it comes to buying a car? Well, we've got fantastic news for you. Meet Adam Aker at Mitch Smith Chevrolet in Cullman, your go-to guy for a no-nonsense car buying experience.
Hey, folks. Adam here. You know, buying a car shouldn't be stressful. That's why at Mitch Smith Chevrolet, we pride ourselves on transparency, trust, and there's never any BS at MS.
That's right. Adam Aker and the Mitch Smith Chevrolet team are changing the game.
I live and breathe Cullman, just like you. So when you step into our showroom, you're not just another customer, you're family. Together, we'll find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs and budget. Remember, Adam Aker, Mitch Smith Chevrolet, what's not to love?
Live 95 is brought to you in part by Merchants Bank of Alabama, a division of South Point, now with several locations across the state, but still located in the heart of Cullman County. They are a proud sponsor of Cullman Community Radio on Live 95. Merchants Bank of Alabama, a division of South Point Bank, member FDIC.
Need to be seen? GoTee Screen Printing and Embroidery can get your name and logo seen all over town, whether it's hats, shirts, jackets, or hoodies. GoTee Screen Printing and Embroidery can hook you up. They also have promotional items like pins, cups, koozies, bags, and more. Does your club, team, or school need a fundraiser? GoTee Screen Printing and Embroidery can set up an online store for you. From concept to completion, GoTees can take care of all your promotional needs. GoTees Screen Printing and Embroidery. For more information, you can visit www.shopgotees.com. That's GOOTEES. GoTees Screen Printing and Embroidery.
Welcome back into the Bearcat Den from Pasquale's Pizza, live here on Cullman's Live 95 and on Cullman's Live 95's Facebook page as well. If you missed any of today's show, you can always go back on Cullman's Live 95's Facebook page and rewatch the show, or later on tonight, we'll have it uploaded to the Cullman's Live 95.5's YouTube channel. About to wrap this week's edition of the Bearcat Den up. Coach, got a big game this week. We win, we take care of business, and Hartselle can knock off Jasper. We're in the playoffs. Talk a little bit about what it's going to take for the Bearcats to come back from Ogle Stadium with a win Friday night.
Yeah, we definitely have to have our full focus and intensity, mentally and physically on these guys. And like I said, with their record, that's something you worry about as a coach when you coach a bunch of 16, 17, 18-year-old kids.
Yeah.
So it's something that I've harped on, and I hope they've got the message there. So that's the first step, and then you got to go out, and I think we have, a good advantage from a line standpoint with our D-line and O-line and O-line and D-line, which I always tell you is the key to the game. So hopefully we can kind of exploit that matchup, which I feel like is our best matchup in the game, is up front. when you play well up front, it's going to make everything a lot easier. So if those guys really get rolling on both sides of the ball up front, we should play pretty well. If they're not and they're struggling and they have a tough night, then it's going to be tough for everybody. So everything's easier when it's rocking and rolling up front.
Yeah.
And hopefully we just keep playing our best ball and keep improving as a football team and get better from last week to next week and take it to the field and have some fun out there.
Cullman Decatur is a big rivalry, so therefore it is the Cullman's Live 95's Friday Night Live Game of the Week this coming Friday night. Yours truly and Chris Brandon will be at Ogle Stadium Friday night bringing you all the action right here on Cullman's Live 95.5 FM. Spread the word. If you're not in or around Cullman to get our signal, you can listen to it on our app. It'll be on the Cullman's Live 95.5's app on the on-air channel. You can listen to that anywhere in the world. Coach, thanks for coming by the Bearcat Den. Best of luck Friday night. We'll see you at Ogle Stadium next Friday.
Thanks for having me.
Next Friday.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Sure. That's going to wrap it up for the Bearcat Den this week. Live from Pasquale's Pizza. The buffet is going to be going until closing tonight, so come by and have dinner tonight at Pasquale's Pizza. We'll see you next week here at the Bearcat Den, or I'll see you Friday night. If you make the trip to Decatur, if you can't make it, you can listen to the game right here on Cullman's Live 95. For Coach Danny Stiff, I'm Tommy Warhurst saying so long, and thanks for joining us.